I am sorry. I've been gone for a while. My videos have been very slow getting out because we have been out of town a couple times the last few weeks. So I'm gonna try to catch you guys up on some things and maybe do something extra this week. My Magic Spoon cereal, my subscription came in and I tried 4 new flavors. They are yummo. Blueberry's gone. Already ate it. Anyway, blueberry muffin, it's absolutely delicious. You can see the macros or the carbs and sugar and all that on this. Birthday cake was amazing. It tastes so good. Perfect for crusts. Maple waffle, we're gonna be using this today. One of my favorites. I love this. So it's probably my favorite. Probably. It's delicious. Peanut butter and this one I love. Cinnamon roll. Yum. I mean, it's just delicious. You could use it in a bunch of different things, because I would never just say go buy this for $8 a box on a subscription and just eat it. That's no cereal's worth that. So wanted to let you know about that. We're going to be using the maple waffle for our crust because today we're doing cheesecake, a very low calorie cheesecake that is scrumptious. So first we're going to take 1.5 cups of the maple waffle, 1.5 cups of it before it's crushed. So you're going to pour this into a container, measure out 1.5 cups. I've already crushed it. I've already put it in my food processor and got the crumbs. So it's crumbly. I have to put the melted marshmallows and the butter in it to make the crust. I'm melting my Brummel and Brown, a tablespoon of Brummel and Brown, about 4 of the Max Mallows. I've been lazy. I haven't made my homemade marshmallows, so I'm going to use the Max Mallows. And then I think the last time I called for 2 cups of the crumbs. And then well, not the last time. Time before that, I did 2 cups of the crumbs for one of the other pies I made. I think it was one of the chocolate silk pies. And that was too much. So then I did 1 cup for the banana cream pie. That was not quite enough. So we're doing 1.5 cups before ground the cereal. So we're gonna melt all this together and get this in the cereal and get the crust going. So it's all getting melted. The marshmallows and the butter. The marshmallows are a binder for the crust. This smells so good. The maple waffle smell of the cereal is just amazing. And I thought it would be really good for a cheesecake crust just because it would add to the flavor of the cheesecake a lot. And be kind of like graham crackers, kind of sort of in a way. So this looks like a better amount of crust. This burner's still kind of warm, so it helps me be able to form the crust because the marshmallows tend to want to set up kind of quick. But anyway, this is very low points. When you find out the points for this, it is probably won't believe it, but and it's kind of an experiment. I've not done this exact thing yet. I've done cheesecake, but I kind of came up with this brainstorming to see how I could make it more like cheesecake and less like diet food, but yet not add points on. So, or add calories or whatever it is you're doing. Okay, now we're gonna do the filling. Since I used the bullet that goes upside down, I put the drier ingredients in first. So this is 1 cup of low-fat ricotta cheese. 1 cup of low-fat ricotta cheese. I already have everything measured out just because it saves time. Then we're doing 1 cup of non-fat Greek plain yogurt. It's gonna be messy. then we're going to take 3 ounces of cream cheese. That probably should have gone in first, but it's okay. Then I put my wet ingredients on top because that's where the blades will be. And that will draw the drier stuff into the blades if you have the wet stuff there. Otherwise, everything just gets stuck. One last thing I put in is, it is the pudding mix. And actually, I'm gonna wait on this because I'm gonna put that in at the last. We're gonna go ahead and mix this up and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so that mixed up nicely. The next step is I'm using 1 pack of vanilla sugar-free instant pudding mix. You can use, there's a cheesecake flavor if you want a little more cheesecake flavor. And then this also has your sweetener in it. So you might not have to add anything. I don't know, I'm gonna try it out because I've never, like I said, made it like this. But you also wanna blend it really good because the ricotta cheese can be a little grainy. And so you don't want any grainy in there. You wanna mix everything up really good. This is kind of like a milkshake consistency now. So let me put this in there and we'll mix it up again. Another reason you kind of want to put the pudding mix in last is because you want that pudding mix right next to the blades. See, it got really thick. You want it right next to the blades because that way it incorporates it really good and you don't have powder stuck down in the corners that you got to kind of try to dig out. So a lot of time there is a method in the madness and you have to organize the way you're adding ingredients depending on what you're cooking with. Now, if I was just doing this with a mixer or something, you know, a hand-bit blender, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal, but I wanted to use blades to break up all the ricotta cheese and everything. So let's get this in the pan. I almost forgot to try the test the sweetness. I know this has raw eggs, but they're fresh eggs or my eggs. And it is, to me, it's perfect. Cheesecake isn't super sweet anyway, but this has enough sugar in it. So this is a nice, thick cheesecake. It's gonna fill out nicely. And we start cheesecakes out at a high temperature, like 425 for maybe 15 minutes. Then we lower it down to 275 until, and with me, I let it crack just because then I know it's done. So a few variations, you can do the cheesecake pudding mix, which would be very good, add a little more cheesecake flavor to it. There is cheesecake extracts you can buy online. The other thing is the cream cheese that I use, it was 3 ounces of Neufchâtel. However, you can do fat-free cream cheese and reduce the points even more. So we will see how this turns out. And if it turns out real cheesecakey or very cheesecakey, then it'd probably be safe to go ahead with the fat-free cream cheese, but it's still going to be negligible as far as points go. So we're going to put this in the oven on 425 for 15 minutes and then lower it down to 270 and we will see how it turns out. So now I'm going to do a very simple topping. I've taken some mulberries and black raspberries that we picked last summer. I've put 2 tablespoons of monk fruit Lakanto sweetener in it. And I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. And we're just going to let that simmer and reduce down. These are frozen. So we're going to reduce. So just barely cover the berries in water and let them simmer for a while with the sugar, the sweetener in there. I would take about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of water, a teaspoon of cornstarch, mix that up. And then I would add that into my simmering berry mixture. When it starts getting thick, take it from the burner so it doesn't get too thick. See, that's getting pretty thick. So depending on how you like your topping, if you like it really gelled and thick, you can let it cook a little longer. But once it starts getting too thick, you don't want it to turn into like gummy bears. So Okay guys, here it is. It looks scrumptious. So I put the berry topping on it and I'm going to cut it up, and the crust looks like a graham cracker crust. So I'm hoping that it turned out really good. So I will, and I'm going to put my hand right over top of it so you can see it's a pretty good size cheesecake. I want to say it's like 8 inches, but I'm going to measure it and just give you the exact measurements so you'll know exactly how much this is. Okay, I tend to be impatient, so I cut it while it was still barely warm, but it held its shape, and if it was cooled, it would be even better. It would be like thick and dense. So I'm going to try it in just a minute. Hi there. So my little boy wanted to do this for his other friend, Cole. We did one for Noah, and this is the other bunny rabbit. Can you say hi to Cole? Huh? Huh? Look at you. You're so cute. What's his name again? Or her name? I'm sorry.
No, it's Betsy.
Hi, Betsy. How are you? You are so cute. You want to say hi to Cole? And Noah? Say hi. Hi. Hi, guys. Maybe I'll have to come to church and see you guys. How's that sound? Hmm? Can you say hi to Zoe and Hadassah? We got a little puppy here. Yeah. Zoe and Hadassah, Gracelyn, Lillian, and Albany, Kelsey and Briley and Ava. Say hi. Okay, so we are also going to make soap today. And we are starting off with 3 pounds of vegetable shortening. You can use Crisco if you want, but you start with 3 pounds of vegetable shortening, and you melt it in a big stainless steel pot. It cannot be aluminum, it has to be stainless steel. So get that melted on low heat until it's just melted. Next, we're going to measure out 220 grams of commercial lye. Now, disclaimer, extremely dangerous, will burn skin, can blind you, has toxic fumes, noxious fumes. So you do not want to breathe the fumes. It gets very hot very quickly, and you have to be extremely careful when using it. You can get this at Ace Hardware or a hardware store, but you might have to show your license because I think they make drugs with it too. So learn something new every day. Anyway, so we're going to tare down to 0, and then we are going to add in 220 grams of, yes, it's on grams, lye. 330 grams, that's what I thought, of water. I would recommend measuring everything in grams just because. Then we're going to pour the water into a stainless steel bowl. And then very carefully, now I don't have gloves or anything on, but I would recommend it only because some people need to wear gloves and goggles and hazmat suits when they're doing this stuff. But I've just never done it, and I probably should use caution, but it's okay. So you pour that in there. It gets up to boiling point almost. I forget what temperature is over 200 very quickly. And you have to do this in stainless steel or it could eat the, it could break glass because it heats so fast. And then you cannot do it in aluminum. It will eat the pot. So you do it in stainless steel. And I just stir it. See the steam coming up? That's how hot it gets, how quickly it gets hot. And so all you want to do is to get this down to a normal temperature, just warm, and your oils just warm. And then you're going to add them together. So we're going to let everything cool off. Okay, so some people will make it sound like it's rocket science to make soap, but it's not. It's chemical reactions, yes, and you do have to be very careful with the lye. Some people need to be more careful than others, but okay, so I have the container of Crisco or Walmart brand shortening, whatever. I have my 220 ounces of lye, my 330 ounces of, or I'm sorry, grams, 220 grams of lye, 330 grams of water. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of olive oil for a super fat in this. Each oil reacts differently. Coconut oil is very drying but very cleansing. Olive oil adds moisturizing. They all have their own special, you know, effects. You can put, this is just a very basic, very simple soap recipe, but you can do 30% coconut oil, 30% palm oil, 30%, you know, olive oil. You can add super fats like argan or like cocoa butter and things like that. And I have done that before, but I'm just doing a very basic, very simple one. So this is warm. I don't do thermometers. Other people, it's, oh, this has to be 100 degrees or 95 or whatever. I just make sure both of them are warm, not burning hot, but just warm. I add my lye to my oils. I take my handy dandy stick blender, stainless steel. You can use plastic, but hold on. So when you get it to trace, this is when it kind of leaves a mark. When you lift it up, it kind of leaves a mark. So this did not take long to get to trace because both of the oils were fairly cooler. They were just warm. So for the most part, it could go a little bit longer. Let me mix this just a little bit longer. Okay, so it's not exactly to trace. You know, it's still pretty soupy just because the temperatures were still pretty warm when I added the oil in with the lye solution. So you can still do it that way though. You just have to mix it a little bit longer. But when it comes to trace, it'll kind of like fold in on itself. But if you wait too long, it'll get stuck in your pan and you can't get it out. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of lavender oil for the scent. And that's one thing, you don't want it too warm or the oil will lose its smell. And so now I'm gonna take this apart. Put it over there, and then going to pour this into my Dollar Tree soap mold. And it smells wonderful. It's very low calorie. Just kidding. See, it's cooling, so it's already starting to form soap, which is good because you don't want it too warm when you do this part, or the essential oil will lose some of its potency or some of its smell. And you want it to smell good. So we're gonna put a lid on this. And I'm not worried about putting, if I was using a glass pan, I would put parchment paper in it first, my 9x13. Since this is plastic and it's very pliable, I'm just putting it in there like that because I can like pop it out like an ice cube tray. So you want to insulate it, let it sit for 24 hours. So I'm going to wrap like a coat around it or something underneath it and on top of it so that it cooks very slowly and it saponifies very slowly. The chemical reaction will cause the soap to come together. It won't separate. Then after 24 hours, I will cut it into bars, and then my special friends are going to get some soap. Okay, so it hasn't quite been 24 hours yet, but we're going to go ahead and get this cut up so I can get this done. So it pretty much just pops out. And I've got my old cutting board out so I don't scratch it, the new one's up. And then you just basically cut it into bars. You can use a knife, you can use string, fishing wire, piano wire. There's lots of different things you can use. And this is not the best knife ever, but it'll get it done. because of the size of the mold, it does make thicker bars. If you get one that has like, it breaks apart and you can just kind of smooth it out, it's not a big deal. So there we have it. Big thick bar of soap that smells amazing. Oh yes, it smells so good. So you're gonna leave these to sit out and cure for about a week. You want airflow. And there you have it. So to wrap it up, this is the next day because I had to let it dry, or let the soap cure and the cheesecake firm up in the fridge. So first of all, the cheesecake is amazing. It is amazing. The crust is like a graham cracker crust. The cheesecake itself is dense. It's very cheesecake flavored. It has plenty of that flavoring because of the cheesecake and because of the cream cheese that's in it. It just turned out wonderful. So the fruit topping was great. It was just enough berries. Personally, I like blueberries better, or red raspberries, but I did black raspberries that we had here on the farm, and mulberries that we picked last year. So it's delicious. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. A slice of original cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory is 40 points. That's 40. 40 points. I get 23 points per day. I add my weeklies onto that. I add on my water, you know, so it comes out to about 29, 30 points a day that I get because I add those weeklies on. 40 points for a slice. The entire cheesecake. So I'm going to go down the list of the ingredients and what the points are. So if you use 1 cup of ricotta, low-fat ricotta cheese from Kroger, is 1 cup is 2 points. 1 cup. 3 ounces, I use Neufchâtel cheese, that's 9 points. But if you'd use fat-free cream cheese, it's only 2 points. So I'm gonna give you both totals. The non-fat Greek yogurt is 0, 2 eggs, 0, 1 pudding pack, sugar-free pudding pack is 3 points. Then for the crust, if you use 1.5 cups of whole cereal and then you crush it down, 1 tablespoon of the Brummel and Brown butter spread, and then your fruit topping. Oh, the marshmallows, the max mallows, they're 0. You're only using 4 max mallows in it, so it's basically 0 points. The fruit topping, the teaspoon of cornstarch I used was 0 points. The fruit is 0 points. The monk fruit is 0 point. The sweetener is 0 points. So if you use Neufchâtel cream cheese, the whole cheesecake comes out to 21 points. If you use the fat-free cream cheese, it comes out to 14 points for the entire cheesecake. The entire cheesecake. So technically, you could eat 0 point foods all day long, like boneless, skinless chicken breast, fat-free Greek yogurt, sugar-free, fat-free Greek yogurt with your own berries and monk fruit in it. So you can make up your own yogurt treat. You could do any meats, On the blue plan, my plan, I have other free foods that I could enjoy if I wanted to. But anyway, all your fruits and vegetables. I eat tons of fruits and vegetables. Eggs. Oh, I eat tons of eggs. Now, I don't think I could go without rice cakes because I have to have about 10 of those a day. But if I'm just doing a rice cake, that's 1 point. With an egg on it is 0 points. So I could eat, 5 rice cakes. And then I could eat the entire cheesecake if I wanted to. Oh, something else you can do. If you wanted to add a scoop of Gene Pro protein powder and a scoop of the collagen peptides, that's adding protein. That's adding like 19 grams of protein for the whole cheesecake too. So not only are you getting lower points, but because that doesn't add any points to it. You're getting lower points and you're getting protein in there. So it's going to keep you fuller longer. It's going to be more like not really a meal per se, but it does have eggs and it does have, the cheese, the ricotta cheese and stuff like that in it. So there is quite a lot of protein. So it would keep you full. And then you've got your fruit topping. I guess that counts. It's kind of cheating, but oh well. So anyway, there's all kinds of things you can do with this, but this was my basic cheesecake, and I did use the vanilla pudding mix. You can use a cheesecake pudding mix, which makes it taste more cheesecakey. But you can do lemon. You could do anything really. Chocolate, coffee. You just have to get creative. So that is the cheesecake part of it. The soap part of it. So here is the bars of soap. They smell so good. Lavender, it's my favorite. They're very thick, very chunky. You can give them as gifts if you want to. Like I said, some of my friends are going to be getting these. A bar of it, because in reality, we won't go through that much soap before it starts losing some of its scent. So, that does happen. I would let it sit 2 to 3 days. I said a week, but you really don't have to let it sit a week. Then I would put it back in that container, the soap mold, and seal it up so that it will hold its scent longer. The more, it's not exposed to the air, it will hold its scent longer. You can go to Hobby Lobby. They have scents, essential oils. They're, you don't have to do expensive. You don't have to do doTERRA or Young Living essential oils. Hobby Lobby has them first on sale all the time. And you can get that, put the whole bottle in, because it's about a tablespoon or a little more. You can use more than a tablespoon. It doesn't matter. You might need 2 tablespoons, but you can go to Hobby Lobby. You can order online cheap soap scents if you want, because in my crunchier days, I probably would have done essential oils, but I'm not so crunchy anymore. So I just do whatever smells good. I use cheaper brands, or I'll use a not really expensive essential oil. So there's the soap. Like I said, they make wonderful gifts. I have made over the years, because I used to be super crunchy, I used to make hair gel, hairspray. I've made body butter, body salts. I've made chapstick, underarm deodorant, toothpaste, even got the little silicone tubes to put the toothpaste in, and all the stuff. So it's not rocket science. I know I say that a lot, but that's one of my pet sayings, is it's not rocket science. It is doable. It's not hard. It's fun. Your family will like it. It keeps the chemicals, at a minimum. And although, some of the stuff that I use in the recipes, it's like, really? But you do need fat. Fat is very important. You should not just go completely fat-free, because your brain needs it. Your brain can't function properly without it. You're not going to feel satisfied without it. So Weight Watchers probably restricts fat a little bit too much. Like I said before, coconut oil is a very healthy fat. Your cardiac care unit nurse told me that coconut oil is healthy for your heart. And it also has things in it that can help with your metabolism and raise your metabolism. So, and I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on that. I'm just repeating what I've seen on Google and I've heard medical professionals say. So that did not come from me. It came from them. Anyway, I hope you guys like this. I know it's been a long video and I am so sorry, but I'm just trying to get caught up, and I'm trying to combine my homestead videos with my cooking videos, just because I can't do 2 a week. I'm taking care of in-laws right now and homeschooling and everything else. So I'm not able to do that. So I'm going to combine them. So we'll do some animals. You know, the soap making's kind of homesteady. And then I'm going to come up with some more recipes. One of my friends wants me to do something that she got at the health food store. So I'm going to try to do that. And hopefully I can remake it. But I am going to start doing some more savory dishes like roast beef and potatoes and gravy and, you know, biscuits and stuff like that. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.